Now, I can't believe that I'm saying this about a bunny girl senpai movie, but I thought it was mediocre. I still think you should watch it if you like bunny girl senpai, but this movie doesn't offer anything revolutionary, and its conclusion is, to be honest, beige. I'll start with the good and how Rascal Does Not Dream of a Sister Venturing Out is a Christian anime. Oh, and spoilers, by the way. As an Oni-chan myself to a younger brother, I thought the sibling dynamic was perfectly portrayed. Sibling relationships have already been touched on during Toyohama's arc, but I thought the way that Sakuta conducted himself was the same way I kinda conduct myself with my brother. We tease each other, I look out for him, and if I know he can handle it, I'd prefer to let him deal with his issues himself. That's what being an older brother means, and it's not to be completely cringe and lovey-dovey with your siblings, but it's not to be completely absent either. It's a balance one has to strike. I do want to stress that this movie is very cute, and it reminds me why I still like the series even though the movie hasn't met my expectations. We get to check in on Mai and Sakuta's relationship, which I genuinely missed watching the dynamic between. It's very, very cute. The different cameos from Futaba to Koga to Kunami to Toyohama, while they all made small appearances, they add that personality to this otherwise quite bland movie. One of the other things which is just really cool is that ending song that plays at the end, and that hit of nostalgia always makes me smile. The humor and dialogue are all very, very clever and all good reminders as to why I like this anime. All the callbacks to the alternate kaide are all very respectful. I think one of the only themes which is really fleshed out a bit is that matter of independence and autonomy. I think it's only in this anime that I fully comprehended that Sakuta actually lives alone with Kaide and with little support from his parents. The reason I realize this now is that we see for the first time him actually asking for his dad for support. It's very relatable speaking as a young adult who is also looking to be more independent and wanting to build up something for myself. It's something that Kaide also comes to in her conclusions. Now, there are places where this movie is simply lacking. The movie delves into this issue of identity for Kaide, and while there's some really hard-hitting scenes, the only reason why they stand out is because nothing else really happens in this movie. A big part of this movie's plot revolves around these schools called correspondence schools, which, trust me, you'll get to know very well by the end of this movie. In fact, I was pretty convinced that a correspondence school had actually sponsored this movie, hence why big portions of it felt as if it was an advert for a correspondence school. So I get that these schools are merely a plot mechanism for which Kaide can then fully express herself as an individual and can make a decision not based on the alternate Kaide's goals and dreams, who may have wanted to go to the same school as Sakuta, but I feel this movie would have benefited from an extra 30 minutes actually addressing the title of the thing itself, Rascal Does Not Dream of a Sister Venturing Out. I say this because there's like 2 scenes where I felt actually worried that she might not make it while venturing out, but other than that, there's not really much venturing and a lot more of studying and taking exams instead. There's also like that scene in the middle where Kaide really airs her worries and anxieties. She's got the ghost of her past self who had built up all of these relationships with Mai and Toyohama and who really built that connection with Sakuta, and this current Kaide struggles to live up to that ideal past self who had achieved so much while current Kaide has not. However, this is supposed to be the main conflict in the movie, but it's not really well established and is so quickly resolved with a short conversation between current Kaide and Sakuta. It's underwhelming and needed a bit more development. Now, despite these issues, yes, you should still watch this movie because I like that it ties up the loose ends regarding Kaide. By the end of the first season of this anime, it was something that was lacking where Kaide simply accepted that she was back and there was no questioning regarding her alternate self. So to have this movie kind of address it, even though it wasn't a thorough exploration of the concept itself, it's good that Kaide's story has had some closure. I am still excited for the next movie, and there's been some rumblings that Sakuta's story doesn't end after the next movie coming up, so I'm waiting very much in anticipation for what this series still has to offer. Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai is a very special anime to me because watching it in high school made an impact on me. It's so reflective of the anxieties and worries of an adolescent person, and not only very relatable but had some very important messages to tell, to the point that I consider Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai as a Christian anime.